Hey, my name's James. In this video, we're going to be comparing all three of these microphones. You might recognize them. They've been around for some time, famous Electro Voice models. We've got the RE20, we've got the re320 and the re27ND. But what's the difference between these? Because they all look very similar. And which one sounds the best? Let's find out. Hey, so if you're new to this channel, welcome along. My name is James Mulvaney. I'm an entrepreneur working primarily in the audio space, and I've helped over the past 15 years tens of thousands of people get results when it comes to launching podcasts, launching radio stations, or broadcasting online. I'm founder of radio.co, podcast.co and matchmaker.fm. So in today's video, I wanted to test out Electro Voice's range of microphones. Electro Voice have been kind enough to send us these microphones to test out, but they all look exactly the same, or near enough the same. We've got on this side the RE20, which is kind of like the famous broadcaster microphone. You'll have seen this. Normally it comes in kind of like a grey colour. This is a matte black finish, but this has been used for like the last 50 years by nearly pretty much every radio studio all over the USA. Really super famous broadcast voiceover microphone. We've got the RE27 here in the middle, which is kind of like the newer version, I guess, of the RE20. We've seen this used a lot in more modern radio studios. Ryan Seacrest uses this microphone. He's got a gold microphone, and he was famously toasted by James Corden for the fact that he had a gold one of these.
Is it not enough that you sat in front of two TV screens with your name on it? You've also got to elevate yourself above us all with a gold microphone. What did you do? Win this? Win this at the host Olympics? Is that what this was?
And also the RE320 at the end, which is more like a consumer-focused microphone. They all sound great. They all have their own slightly different characteristics. To get the best results of this video, I recommend you wear headphones, because you probably won't really be able to tell the difference if you're listening to this video through a speaker. We are testing all three of these microphones using this, which is the Tascam Mixcast 4. Really cool bit of kit for recording podcasts. One of the reasons we're using to record this is it's got up to 4 microphone inputs, and also the preamps in these are great as well. So for example, the RE20 requires a little bit more gain than the other two mics, so we've kind of adjusted them as appropriate. We're not applying any processing or any filtering or anything like that, so you're going to get the raw sound of the microphone. And we're going to test in 3 different environments. Firstly, we're going to test here. This is in our sort of office studio. We're not in an ideally soundproof space here, so we want to sort of pick up on things like, are they picking up any background noise? Are they picking up much echo in the room? And we're then going to be testing in an ideal environment, which is our soundproof studio. And then we're going to finally be testing these in a kitchen environment, so completely the opposite environment where you really want to be recording, and seeing how they fare in each of these environments. As I say, all recorded via the Tascam Mixcast 4, so you'll be able to get a feel for how each of these sounds. Please feel free to comment at any point in this video your thoughts on how these sound, how they compare. If you own one of these microphones, or if you're thinking about getting one, you know, we're kind of coming up to Christmas now. These are going to be a perfect gift for anyone who wants to really up their game when it comes to their podcast or their radio output. So let's get started. Okay, so we're now switched to the recording from the microphones, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be flicking between the recordings of each of these 3. So I want you to get a gauge of how they sound. Now, as you can see, we've got all 3 of them right in front of me, about equidistant away. I'm nice and close up, so you can kind of get a feel for how these microphones sound as you're supposed to be using them. Now, all of these have got what is called variable D technology, which basically means they're supposed to be very good at rejecting anything that's not directly in front of the microphone. They're designed to be used by broadcasters. They're also really popular in recording studios for actually recording things like kick drums. But one of the things that's really interesting about these microphones is they have 3 different price points. So I want you to try and guess out of the RE320, the RE27 and the RE20, which one costs the most and which one is the cheapest. To give you an idea, the most expensive microphone in this range is around $600 and the cheapest is around $300. So there's quite a big difference between the high and the low. We'll reveal the prices at the end of this video, but I want you to comment below and let me know which one you think sounds the best. So here we are. As I mentioned, we're recording this in our office. This is not like an ideal environment. We have got traffic going past outside. There are people working away in the background. And of course, there is a slight echo in this room. Well, I wanted to give you an idea of what these microphones sound like in kind of quite a natural environment. Next up, we're going to just move on to the kitchen, where it's quite noisy and quite echoey, and probably the unoptimized version of where you want to be recorded. But of course, a lot of podcasts are recorded in people's kitchens, so we thought we'd test them out in there as well. Okay, so we're now in the kitchen, and it looks like I'm holding some kind of dodgy press conference, which I'm not, I promise. I'm actually I've raised these up a little bit just so I don't have to bend too far down. But, you know, Josh is making a coffee in the background. This isn't an ideal environment to record in. We've got like an air purifier running in the corner. And as you can hear, quite a lot of echo in this room. So what do you think? How do these microphones sound when they're being used in a sort of non-ideal recording environment? Do you think they are good at eliminating background noise, or can you kind of hear everything that's going on behind me? And also, how do they sound when they're in an unideal sort of room in terms of, you know, we've got things echoing going on, we've got coffee being made, and it's all just a bit chaotic. You know, you really wouldn't want to record a podcast in an environment like this, but we thought we'd put them in an unideal situation so you can get an idea of how these sound. So let me know in the comments what you think. And next up, what we're going to do is we're going to test them out in our sound booth. So finally, I am in our Soundproof studio. This is what we normally record voiceovers. Quite often when we do production work, recording with clients, we'll often use this as a really quiet space. The great thing about this studio is it's really isolated from the outside world. You know, you're behind thick glass, thick walls, and also there's lots of sound treatment on the walls, so there's not very many echoes. Unlike the kitchen, it's not a live room. So this really is the ideal environment for recording or testing microphones. I want to know what you think sounds the better. I'll quickly flick between them for one last time just so you can hear. So this is the re320. And this is the cheapest of the bunch. re320 retails round about $300. Next up, we've got the re20, which retails around about $500. So it's a little bit more expensive. And finally, the re27 ND, which retails as the most expensive of the bunch, $600. So I want to know which one of these you think sounds the best in an environment that perhaps is not so great and an environment that's perfect. And also just generally comparing the price tags, $300 to $600 is quite a big price difference between these three. Which one do you think offers the best value for money when it comes to sound quality? Have you got one of these in your radio station, or do you use one of these to record your podcast? I'd love to know in the comments below. Likewise, please feel free to commentate and, you know, get involved in the discussion. Tell me which you think sounds great. I must admit, these microphones, you know, when I first saw them a few years back, I was like, what's the difference between them? They all look kind of the same, right? But there are some differences, and I think especially if you're wearing headphones, and if you've not watched this video with headphones, go back and listen to it with headphones, because you'll probably more likely be able to pick up on the differences between them. But yeah, it's been really, really fun testing these three out. Thanks for watching this video. I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now. What makes the difference between a successful radio station and a failed project? Well, after working with tens of thousands of broadcasters over the past 15 years and helping lots of people start their own radio stations, I see the same mistakes being made time and time again. So what I've done is I've put together a guide called the 5-Step Radio Startup Checklist, which really covers everything from concepting your radio station to marketing it. And this guide, I believe, will make the difference between you having a successful venture with longevity and creating something that doesn't quite hit the mark. Go and grab your copy now for free at jamesm.com/radio. Just enter your name and your email address and I'll send it over to you straight away. You're going to find it really useful. There's tons of information there which will help you with concepting and launching your brand and bringing it to market.